In this lesson, you will learn how to subtract with zeros where regrouping is needed. Let's get started. So when you subtract, remember, you want to be thinking, is the top number higher? If it is, you can subtract. If it's not, you're going to have to borrow. So let's look at an example of zeros. Let's say you have 4 million and you're subtracting 1,256,872. Can you do 0 minus 2? No, because if you have a 0, can you take 2 away? You cannot. Can you borrow from 0? Can you borrow from 0? No. Can you borrow from this 0? No. Can you borrow from this 0? No. Can you borrow from this 0? No. So you have to go all the way to the millions place, cross off the 4, make it a 3. When you do that, that's going to give 10 to the hundred thousands place. But remember, the ones place needs to borrow, so we have to get all the way to that ones place. So you're going to give 10 here, but you're going to borrow from that 10, make this a 9, give this 10 here. Borrow from that 10, make it a 9, give 10 here. Borrow from that 10, make it a 9, give 10 here. Borrow from that 10, make it a 9, put 10 here. Borrow from that 10, make it a 9. And this stays 10 because there's no one that it has to borrow from to give it to. It was the ones place that needed to borrow. 10 minus 2, now that we've regrouped, is 8. 9 minus 7 is 2. 9 minus 8 is 1. Let's bring our comma down. 9 minus 6 is 3. 9 minus 5 is 4. 9 minus 2 is 7. And 3 minus 1 is 2. So then our answer is 2,743,128. So it's like, wow. So let's look at our next example. Let's see that again, double time. So again, we have a situation where you have to ask yourself, with subtraction, is the top number higher in each place? In the ones place, in the tens place, in the hundreds place. If it's not, you have to go next door. If you can't go next door, you have to keep going until there is a place that has value or a number in it. So can we do 0 minus 1? No, because you can't. If you have nothing, you can't take 0 away. This top number here is lower. You can't borrow from 0, can't borrow from 0, can't borrow from 0, can't borrow from 0. You go all the way to the hundred thousands place, cross off the 5, make it a 4. Remember, when you borrow, the number goes down by 1, and when it gives in groups of 10. So you do 10 that you borrowed plus what's there. So what's 10 plus 0? 10. So you put your 10 there, but you have to cross it off. Why are we crossing off the 10 to make it a 9? Because the ones place needs to borrow. So the 10 here, we cross it off, make it a 9. That in turn gives 10 to the thousands place, cross off that, make it a 9. Give 10 to the hundreds place, give 10 to the tens place, and then this right here stays 10 because there's no place that it has to borrow to or to give to. So then now that we've regrouped, we took our 500,000 and we made it 4,999,990 plus 10, which is going to give you your 500,000. So 10 minus 1 is 9. 9 minus 4 is 5. 9 minus 9 is 0. 9 minus 4 is 5. 9 minus 3 is 6. And then 4 minus 1 is 3. So then your answer is 365,059. Your turn. At this point, pause the video and solve the problem. 3 million minus 159 minus 1,591,318. If you want to go back and review before you solve it, do it. Alright, I'm back. Hopefully you unpause me. We're going to see how you're doing. Let's check your work. So you knew you couldn't do 0 minus 8, and you couldn't borrow from any of these places, so you had to go all the way to the millions place. Cross off the 3, make it a 2. Whenever you borrow, your number goes down 1. Whenever you give in groups of 10 plus whatever's there. So 10 plus the 0 is 10. Borrow from that, make it a 9. This becomes 10. But then you need to borrow from that 10, make it a 9. This becomes 10. Borrow from that, make it a 9. This becomes 10. Borrow from that, make it a 9. This becomes 10. Borrow from that, make it a 9. This becomes 10. So now you have 10 minus 8 is 2. 9 minus 1 is 8. 9 minus 3 is 6. Bring your comma down. 9 minus 1 is 8. 9 minus 9 is 0. 9 minus 5 is 4. Bring your comma down. 2 minus 1, because your 3 is no longer there, 2 minus 1 is 1. So how did you do? If you didn't do so well, you might want to go back and redo that, watch the early part of the video again. But that is subtracting with zeros. Now what we're going to do is do something called subtracting with zeros also. But look, what happens if there's a 0 here in the ones place? So now we have 0 minus 0. Can you do that? Yes. So that's what I want you to pay attention to. You're not going to have to borrow for this ones place, and if there was a 0 here, you wouldn't have to borrow for that tens place. So 0 minus 0 is just 0. Now when we come to the tens place, there is a problem. 0 is lower than 4, so you're going to have to borrow. So you go over to the 9, because the 9 has value. Cross out the 9, make it an 8. This becomes 10. But again, same thing, because the tens place needs to borrow, not the ones place. Cross off the 10, make it a 9, put your 10 here. Cross off this 10, make it a 9, and then that crossing off this 10, make this a 9, gives 10 to this. Cross off the 10, make it a 9, give the 10 here. So we cross off this 10, we don't, because, look, the ones place was 0 minus 0, and you could do that, so you didn't have to borrow. So you stop here, you do 10 minus 4, which is 6, 9 minus 4, which is 5, 9 minus 2, which is 7, 9 minus 3, which is 6, 8 minus 4, which is 4, and you bring that 2 down, because look, 2 minus nothing is 2. So then that makes your answer 2,467,560. Now, you can watch that again if you need to. We didn't give to this one because 0 minus 0 you can do. You don't have to borrow for this. It is your turn again. All right, awesome. Pause and solve. See how you do. Pay attention to this here so that you can see, do I need to borrow to this ones place or do I not need to borrow? And we're back. I hope you paused that to see if you're able to solve it on your own. Let's practice. Let's check. See how you did. 0 minus 0. How did you write 0 for that? I hope so. If you have 0 and I take away 0, I have 0. 0 minus 3, though, you cannot do that. So you are going to have to borrow from the 7, make it a 6. This becomes 10. Borrow from that 10, make it a 9. This becomes 10. Borrow from that 10, make it a 9. That thousands place becomes 10. Borrow from the 10, make it a 9. This becomes 10. Borrow from this 10, make it a 9. This becomes 10. But stop there because your ones place did not need to borrow. So you have 10 in the tens place minus 3 in the tens place is 7. 9 minus 9 is 0. 9 minus 1 is 8. 9 minus 1 is 8. 9 minus 5 is 4. And then you have 6 million minus the 2 million, but just think of it as 6 minus 2, which is your 4. So I'm hoping you got that right. Paying attention here that you did not have to borrow here. You stopped at that tens place, and you have the answer 4,488,070. In this lesson, you learned how to subtract with zeros. How did you feel about this? Thumbs up? I think I'm getting it. Thumbs in the middle? I need a little bit more practice. Or thumbs down? Oh man, it's so confusing. I don't know what to do with all those zeros. Continue to practice if that's you, and rewatch the video as many times as needed until you get it. Key thing is, don't give up. You will get it. Thank you for watching.